All right. So, how do you start getting placements? You're nobody. Five steps, okay? 5 things you gotta do. 5 little checklists. I wrote them down. So, I wrote this last night because I've been thinking about it, and I think these are like the 5 little like um, philosophies that I used. So I'm by no means a genius in this, all right? But I mean, I want to have plaques. I don't have placements. I don't have hella placements, but I've been focusing on rap beats for, let's just say 8 months, 9 months. If you really want to go for it, you could say a year. And these are what I've been doing in the past year. And so far, I've got a song with Lil Mosey, Lil TJ, Tyler Yahweh. Obviously, I have 2 Jake Paul songs. And a lot of you guys are going to be saying, oh, like, why would you make music with Jake Paul? Like, he's cringe, he's this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, first thing is, he's actually a really cool guy. I really, really fuck with him. Second thing is, I don't know if you noticed, but we pull streams. That boy pulls streams. So for anyone hating, that's cool. All right, so this is what I do basically. This is like my secret. This is my formula. But the first thing you want to focus on is, first of all, you gotta start using better sounds in your beat. Okay, so make sure you get the best out of the best drums, the best out of the best loops. Okay, this sounds like it's obvious. It sounds like it's obvious, but it's not, because a lot of people are like, okay, I'm gonna start sending beats out, and they're not really the best yet, but I'm improving, so it's fine. No. So what you gotta do is go on Looperman, use only the best loops. Okay. Yes. You could also make loops and stuff. I'm not saying not to, but you want the best quality product as fast as possible. So that's why you want to get the best loop kits, get the best looper, the melodies, samples, loops, the best drums, because that matters so much. Okay? So the rapper could be in the studio, right? And the beat could have the most fire programming, etc., but it just doesn't sound right. And this extends also to focus on getting your drums arrangement and mixing down before you start learning how to nail melodies. Okay, so I know I'm kind of touching a bunch of points really quickly, but once you get your mixes fire, like your beats just sound good overall when you're using someone else's loops, then start working on making your own loops and your own melodies. You want to get to as good of a product as fast as possible. So use loops, and then get drum samples, fire drum samples, and learn how to arrange them, learn how to mix them, learn how to structure them. And I had that down as 2 steps, but that's kind of like 1 step. Is just get the best product as fast as possible, and then start using your own melodies. So that's like getting the beats down, like getting the right sound. But once you have a quality product, how the fuck do you get people to hear them, right? So it's kind of like learning how to network, and everyone has different strategies, but this is my strategy. This is what worked for me. And these 2 things kind of go hand in hand, or these next 3 steps kind of go hand in hand. But the first thing is become an engineer. Okay, become a recording engineer, because there's 2 things that happen when you're a recording engineer. A, it's a valuable skill that you need to know when you're in sessions. So let's say all of a sudden, fucking, what's a big artist right now? The Kid Leroy is like, yo, let's work. Right? Hits you up. You got beats. Let's work. You get to the studio, and there's no one there to record him. What? You're just not gonna make a song? No, you're gonna want to make a song, so you engineer. And then the second part of that is when you engineer and you're in sessions engineering, that's when you can play your beats. So the kid Leroy wants to work at a studio, right? He needs an engineer. You're there engineering. He's looking through beats, doesn't find anything. Yo, I got some beats. Play your beats. Boom. This is such a key. Such a key. This is the reason why I have any sort of success in this industry. It's literally the reason. And the next part of this is, okay, once you engineer, how the fuck do you start engineering for big artists? This is when you start working at studios and interning at studios, okay? You want to intern at a studio? I mean, if you can get paid, it's better, but a lot of times you have to just intern. But it's worth it for the grind, right? Because you want to get placements. But you intern at a studio that you know people work at, you know big artists work at, and that way you get in the room with artists. It's also like learning how to network and learning how to not be an opportunist and how to let things happen organically. Just because you're in the room with Lil Mosey, maybe you're even in the studio with Lil Mosey, maybe you're even engineering Lil Mosey, doesn't mean you have to shove your product down his throat. Let things happen organically. If you're at a party with Lil Mosey and it's your first 5 minutes talking to him ever, you're not gonna be like, yo, I got beats, and start putting your phone in his ear, having him hear your beats. Yo, what's your feedback on this? If you run into Boy Wonder, don't be like, yo, I want your feedback on this. Like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? When you start doing that, it comes off as desperate, and it comes off as annoying, and it comes off as selfish. Like, people don't want to listen to your shit. You know what I mean? You know, that's how it works. So, like, when I got my Mosey placement, it was at a party, and there was like a different artist downstairs in the studio in the recording, and then we were playing a beat, and then Lil Mosey happened to come downstairs as he heard that beat playing before that artist started writing to it. He's like, hey, I want this, and then he hopped on it. And this is when my beats were still fucking trash. Like, I'll show you guys this real quick. This is when my beats were terrible. Like, I hear so much that's wrong with this beat, but hey, Mosey actually got on it, which is crazy. Let's go. I mean, probably never gonna come out, right? But still, like, the more chances you take, the more of these little songs you build up, they start coming out. Then you do a song for Jake Paul. He drops fresh out of London. Then a song you did for Little TJ 8 months ago, suddenly he wants to drop it, etc., etc. So this was recorded when? Let's see. August 13th, 2019. So a little over a year ago. And this is before I started really focusing on rap beats. This is when I was still doing the EDM stuff. I had some rap beats for fun. I really started going hard with the rap beats in like February, March of this year. So that's that step. Oh, and then the last thing is if you're in a fucking random ass city like Oklahoma City, or like if you're in Idaho, if you're some random kid in Nebraska, like you're gonna have a way harder time with this formula, at least, because there's no studios out there. So you gotta come to LA, but you gotta figure that shit out. Just come here, work for free for somewhere to work for free if the studio will let you sleep there, right? I interned at this one studio for like a couple months, Studio City Sound. That's where Famous Dex would record a lot. Studio City Sound, this studio. I interned here in December 2018. And there was this kid that was interning there that's from literally England. Like, he moved here from England. And he was sleeping in the studio, and he was working for free. And he learned how to engineer. That kid's legendary. I think he had to go back because of COVID. But yeah, you can always figure shit out, you know? Networking online, I'm not saying you can't do it. Like, look at Qbeats, look at, the biggest, I mean, you can get, I'm not sure how that shit works. I couldn't figure out that route. For me, it's always worked in person, because in person you can be the most tiniest producer, and you can work with the biggest artists just like that, just by being in the room with them and they hear your beat. So Crazy Kill, I'm not saying you can't do it, but the way I did it, I had to be in LA. So that's what I would tell you guys.